Welcome back, all of you guys. Today we will see a topic which everyone faces once in a lifetime. When life gets difficult, focus feels like a luxury. Our minds drift, our energy drains, and even simple goals start to feel heavy. Yet, every person who has ever created something meaningful has walked through that fog of difficulty. Focus is not something you find only in good times. True focus is forged in chaos. This is a story, a reflection, and a reminder that your focus is not lost, only buried under noise. Think of a mountain. From far away it looks calm, unshaken. But stand close and you'll see wind, dust, and struggle carved into its face. You are that mountain. The storm is real, but the core never moves. When life gets hard, we don't lose our potential, we only lose connection with it. The first thing to remember is this: pain doesn't destroy focus, resistance does. When you resist the way things are, you use all your strength fighting reality. You keep saying, "This shouldn't be happening." But it is. The moment you accept that, your energy returns to you. Acceptance is not surrender. It is a way of saying, "I'm still here." Focus begins the moment you stop running from what is hard and start breathing inside it. The nature of focus. Focus is not concentration. Concentration is forcing your mind to stay still. Focus is understanding why you must stay. When you truly know why you're doing something, you don't need to keep pulling yourself back. The why itself holds you there. When life feels unbearable, ask yourself, why did I start? Who will I become if I continue? The mind follows meaning. The moment your work loses meaning, distraction becomes easy. So to stay focused, you must constantly feed yourself with purpose. Sometimes that means reminding yourself that the pain itself is part of your purpose. The struggle you feel is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth happening faster than your comfort can handle. You are being stretched into a new version of yourself. The myth of motivation. We often wait for motivation before we act. But in truth, action creates motivation. When life gets hard, the mind says, "I'll move when I feel ready." But readiness never comes. You start small. You move when it's messy, tired, uncertain. Take one step, even if it's imperfect. That step generates momentum. Momentum gives you clarity. Clarity gives you focus. The circle completes itself only when you begin. Remember this. When you start walking, even a foggy path reveals the next few steps. You don't need the whole road visible, just enough to take one more breath, one more step, one more day. Distraction, the modern enemy. We live in an age where everything fights for our attention. Every beep, every scroll, every notification is a small theft. And when you're already struggling, distraction feels like comfort. You reach for your phone not because you're lazy but because you're tired. But every time you choose distraction, you teach your brain that discomfort is dangerous. And then focus becomes harder next time. So try this simple truth: allow boredom. Allow stillness. Allow that uncomfortable silence where nothing seems to move. That is where real focus returns. Your brain will fight it. It will crave stimulation. But if you sit long enough, stillness will begin to feel safe again. Focus grows in quiet places. The weight of expectations. When life gets hard, people often stop focusing because they carry too many expectations, their own, and others. You feel pressure to succeed, to perform, to stay strong. But focus is fragile under pressure. The more you try to be perfect, the more scattered you become. Let go of perfection. Focus loves simplicity. If you can't do everything, do something. If you can't give 100%, give what you have. Progress is not about intensity. It's about consistency. Remember this line: you don't have to move fast, you just have to keep moving. The discipline of rest. Focus is not working non-stop. True focus also means knowing when to rest. When your body is exhausted and your mind is dull, forcing focus becomes punishment. Rest resets your attention. Sleep restores memory. Silence heals clarity. Take breaks not to escape the work but to honor it. You can't pour from an empty cup. The power of small wins. When life gets heavy, everything feels too far away. The mind says, "What's the point?" That's when you must shrink the challenge. Make the task so small it's impossible to fail. Write one line, read one page, Sit for 5 minutes. Every small win tells your brain, I can still move. And once movement returns, focus follows. Success is rarely one giant leap. It's the sum of small, stubborn steps taken in silence. Turning pain into purpose. If you're going through something painful, loss, heartbreak, failure, rejection, focus feels like betrayal. You think, how can I care about goals when I'm broken? But pain can become your sharpest focus. Because pain wakes you up to what truly matters. The things that hurt you can either distract you or drive you. You choose which story you tell. Tell yourself this: I am not defined by what happened to me. I am defined by how I grow through it. Every great artist, athlete, thinker, they all turned pain into art, loss into lessons, and failure into fire. Your pain is not the end. It's an invitation to evolve. The discipline of the present. Focus doesn't live in the past or the future. It exists only in the present. The moment you say, I'll focus tomorrow, you teach your mind that focus can wait. But life doesn't wait. Stay where your feet are. When you eat, just eat. When you study, just study. When you rest, just rest. The secret is not multitasking less, it's learning to give yourself fully to one thing at a time. Presence feels simple, but it's rare. In presence, there's no judgment. There's only awareness. And awareness is the foundation of focus. When you feel lost, everyone, even the strongest, has moments where they lose sight of direction. In those moments, don't force clarity. Wait for it. Let the fog settle on its own. Life is like a pond. If you keep stirring the water, it stays muddy. But if you stay still, the mud settles and you can see the bottom again. Stillness is not idleness. It's intelligent patience. The role of gratitude. Gratitude sharpens focus. When you start your day thinking of what's missing, your energy leaks into comparison. When you start your day remembering what's already here, your mind feels stable. Gratitude is like a lens cleaner for the soul. It doesn't change what you see, it changes how you see. When life gets hard, list 3 things that are still good. The list may be small, a roof, a friend, a meal, but that small list becomes a lighthouse. Environment and focus. Your environment silently shapes your attention. If your surroundings are chaotic, your thoughts will echo that chaos. Clean your space. Light a candle. Play calm music. Create a space where your mind feels invited to return again and again. Even the smallest ritual, a cup of tea, a deep breath, a journal, tells your brain, we're safe here. Safety gives birth to focus. People and energy. Be careful of who you keep close when life gets hard. Some people drain your focus with their chaos. Others protect it with their calm. Surround yourself with those who speak peace, not noise. Those who remind you of who you are, not what you lack. Energy is contagious. Protect yours. Focus as a spiritual practice. In the end, focus is not just productivity, it's a form of prayer. When you give your whole attention to something, you honor life itself. You say, this moment matters. And in that moment, the noise disappears. You become aligned with what's real, the breath, the effort, the heartbeat. That's why monks can sit for hours doing nothing. They aren't avoiding life. They are inside it, completely. Your work, your art, your study, all can become meditation if done with full heart. When you want to give up, there will be days when focus feels impossible. When you'll question everything. When you'll think, maybe I'm not meant for this. Remember, everyone who ever made it once thought of quitting. The difference is, they didn't listen to that voice for too long. Sometimes, the best way to stay focused is not to be strong, but to simply not leave. Stay one more day. Try one more time. Don't demand perfection from yourself, only presence. The power of belief. You become what you believe. If you believe you're weak, every difficulty will prove you right. If you believe you're capable, every difficulty becomes training. Belief is the seed. Focus is the sunlight. Together, they grow resilience. So repeat to yourself, not as empty affirmation, but as truth. I am capable. I am learning. I am still becoming. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Returning to your center. When storms hit, trees don't fight the wind, they bend, and then rise again. You too can bend. You too can return. Your focus is not gone. It's waiting under layers of noise, waiting for you to slow down enough to listen. Breathe. Return to your center. Ask yourself, what matters right now? What can I do, with what I have, where I am? That's all focus is, presence applied with purpose. The final reminder: when life gets hard, remember this. You are not failing because you feel lost. You are learning to navigate the storm. You don't have to see the end. You just have to stay with the next step. The mountain doesn't climb itself in a day. It stands because it never runs away from the wind. You are the same. Stay steady. Stay soft. Stay faithful to your small actions.